Hello and welcome to another episode of the Full Force Weekly, brought to you by GeneralsJoes Reborn.com with me, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostik80. For today's episode, I am joined by the awesome Patrick Notpicard Stewart. In this regular video series, we round up all the week's news in the world of GIJoe. Full Force Weekly. Tell everyone about your dream, Pat.
Oh no, you don't want to hear about that. We were talking about it before we came on, and it was just bizarre. Yeah.
I'm kidding. Don't tell anyone about your dream. It's crazy. I swear, I've never heard of such ridiculous things in a dream ever.
It felt more like nonsense for me, I'm sure.
I'm just kidding. It was perfectly normal. And anyway, we've got some news to get stuck into today. So let's start off then with Icon Heroes. Typically, and in classic Full Force fashion, Icon Heroes decided they would wait a few minutes after we recorded the last weekly episode before revealing a truckload of product on their website. After the reveals of those SDCC preview exclusive pin badges earlier in the week, they followed that up with more pin badge sets of V2 Snake Eyes and Timber, and V1 Storm Shadow, and V1 Duke and V1 Battle Helmet Cobra Commander. These sets, much like the SDCC exclusive ones, will cost $30 per 2-pin set. As well as those, Icon Heroes also revealed 2 mouse pads featuring version 2 Snake Eyes and version 1 Storm Shadow for $15 each, 2 card holders, 1 extensive Enterprises and 1 with both Joe and Cobra logos for $25 each, a $70 Cobra logo bookend, and my favourite item reveal had to be the $30 Snake Eyes Sword letter opener. All items will be made available by the 4th quarter of this year with the exception of the bookend, which will be the 1st quarter of 2022, which is quite surprising when you think of what a bookend is in terms of production and everything. But still, Pat, what are your thoughts on this range of product?
Well, the bookends look amazing to me. They look kind of big, I kind of thought, and they look like they'd actually work, which is more than I can say for some bookends that I've bought that are just the cheap ones. These ones actually could be good to hold some of your G.I. Joe guides or maybe some of your compiled comics, like some of those... oh
yeah, the big old trades, yeah.
The trade paperbacks. That was the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Especially the hardcover trade paperback stuff. I mean, or like hardcover, just generally big books, because they are so heavy. We've got bookshelves. We've got the kind of IKEA, like kind of white square block kind of bookshelves, and they work really well. But yeah, bookends just like they very rarely hold anything together. Just get pushed out to the side while everything kind of opens up and flattens.
Yeah, but this one actually looks pretty good. I mean, I'm hoping that it is pretty functional. But I also like the pins. It seems like they're building a small collection here that you could probably buy them and plug into like a corkboard or wear them on you when you go to a convention. I would imagine some of your favorite figures would be cool to have on here. I would expect to see Baroness and Destro. Those were the two that I was kind of expecting that we would see.
I expect to see them, yeah, and I kind of expect to see Destro done in his version 1 card art, because obviously the one that we've got of Destro, I don't think they're just going to do a repaint of that. I may be wrong. They might do a repaint of that kind of 25th style SDCC exclusive card art. But
yeah, because of the pose, right?
Yeah. But I just assume they're going to do that kind of version 1 pose for him. Baroness, though, that's an easy, just do it in black, done.
Yeah, for sure. So
no-brainer. Maybe they're giving it a bit of space between the SDCC reveal and then maybe like the next wave of product that they do.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense, but it just makes me think that there's probably even more of these coming, which isn't a bad thing.
Absolutely. Who do you expect, other than Destro and the Baroness, which is obviously, it's kind of a given, who do you expect to see in the next wave? So like if there were 2 sets... You've got Destro and the Baroness as one, I'll give you that. What would be another set you'd expect early doors?
I would expect to see Roadblock relatively soon.
Agreed.
And, I mean, seeing the Crimson Twins this fast makes me think that maybe they're not going to just go with the A-listers right away. But that's also one of the exclusives. So if you look at the non-exclusives, you've got Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, Cobra Commander, and Duke.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, Roadblock and Destro, honestly, because I think that Destro could sell on his own. Like, you know, he's one of the A-list G.I. Joe characters for sure. And the fact that the pose would also be different would kind of give double
Yeah.
reason to get both Destros.
Absolutely. I fully expect Roadblock and Scarlet next as a 2-pack.
Okay.
Destro and Baroness is another one. So I expect those are the ones I expect next. And then following that, I would say I think you can expect like Major Blood. You can expect Flint and Jay. I think would be a good one to do. I can imagine those like like Major Blood. You'd probably have to put like Firefly. Maybe Firefly and Blood would be a good kind of two-pack in terms of like kind of fairly A-list Cobra characters. But then you've got Troopers and Vipers and all sorts, haven't you?
Yeah, I kind of wonder if they're going to go with a Joe and a Cobra in each set normally, or if we will get things that feel a little more like duos with like Alpine and Bazooka or something like that.
That would be great. I would love an Alpine and Bazooka. Sold. In fact, I could see Alpine and Bazooka being another like next year's SDCC kind of one, that would be wicked. In any case, anything else that stands out for you? Because I mean, that letter opener looks sensational. I'm definitely going to have to get one of those.
It does look really nice. I don't know. I really did think that the bookends looked good, and I don't know that I have a lot of reason to have. I mean, I do have some business cards, so maybe I could use one of those.
Can you put credit cards in there? Because I was thinking you could just have like a little credit card holder.
See, I kind of assumed that it was for business cards. Is it for credit cards?
I'm just seeing if they would actually fit in there. I suppose they would. They'd be the same size, wouldn't they, as a business card? Business cards are usually around about the same size, aren't they?
Business cards are usually a little smaller, aren't they?
If that's the case, then you probably can't fit a credit card in there. But I fancy just getting one just so I can have an extensive enterprises thing, because that's really cool, I think.
Well, you're going to have to make some business cards then if you don't have them. Buy one of these and then have a reason to carry it.
I do actually have business cards for Hoarder.
Okay, then you're good.
So there you go, done. I'm buying it. Extensive enterprises, baby. Anyway, yes, I mean, that's really cool. I mean, were you expecting this kind of product from Icon Heroes? We spoke a little bit before, didn't we, about people thinking it was a real sword, about also like what to expect from them. But I mean, it's pretty, obvious stuff. I wasn't expecting mouse pads. That screams like early 2000s to me.
Yeah, that's true. They're pretty cool, but I don't know. I was just kind of expecting some various GIJoe product from them because, of course, it's a big year for GIJoe. So it's definitely a time where there will be more eyes on this, and it's a moment to sell some of this stuff. It's cool that it's some things that we haven't gotten in the past. I don't think there's ever been a GIJoe letter opener. There have been bookends, but there's a lot of GIJoe books as well. So
I must admit, I think you could probably use those mouse pads as like, you could probably pin them up as little pictures. You know what I mean? Rather than like have them as mouse pads necessarily, because I don't have a mouse, so that's an issue for me. But that's not going to stop me getting one or two or 12. In any case, that's Icon Heroes. We will bring you any other information that they may reveal some more new stuff upcoming, so we'll kind of keep you abreast of that. I expect to see more stuff, really, honestly, as the ramp up to the movie kind of continues. So, keep an eye on our socials, keep an eye on our channel, and we will bring you all the news. Anyway, next up, we have classified code word news, or Pat's favourite things. Pat's favourite pastime returns as Hasbro Canada posted a wave list of multiple products, including a number of new GIJoe classified code words, which were matched to previously known codes and characters. The new movie waves got new code words. MV Jupiter equals movie Storm Shadow, previously known as MV Scorpion. MV Earth equals movie Snake Eyes, previously known as MV Tarantula. MV Mars, movie Baroness, previously known as MV Mantis. MV Galaxy is movie Scarlet, previously known as MV Mosquito. MV Mercury is movie Akiko, previously known as MV Ladybug. Rocket is Lady J, previously Puma. And Moon is Flint, previously Foxtrot. These are interesting when you take into consideration the most recent reveal of new code words from Anything Joe's not too long ago. We had surmised that some of those new codes could have been movie figures, but this could suggest otherwise. Considering MV Jupiter is movie Storm Shadow, then we could be seeing a different Storm Shadow, aka Jupiter, in that Voldemort system in the future, target system. Other notable additions are new codes for the as yet unknown Big Rig and Diamondback, who are now Apollo and Satellite respectively. They will be sold in a case of 2 Apollo and 3 Satellite along with 1 Gung Ho. How excited does all of this make you, Pat?
I should have a code word for how excited I am.
Not, none, angry.
It's the same thing always for me. You manage to pick out some facts from it that kind of make me go, oh, hey, that's something to think about.
Yeah.
But whenever I just see these code words, it's just like, oh, that's kind of a big mess, and I'm just not going to play along with it or follow it too much. I don't know.
There's been a lot of examples of rather randomness about them, but I will also say we have seen a lot of patterns, and a lot of patterns in obvious ways, like in previous times we've had. Obviously, when we knew what tarantula was early on with snake eyes, we then saw new code words like MV tarantula, and we knew that was movie Snake Eyes. So I'm thinking in kind of a very similar way here. Now that we know that Jupiter or MV Jupiter is Storm Shadow, and we've seen in target system just Jupiter, because we've also seen in target system when they add the MV, all of this is suggesting that we may even see another Storm Shadow on the horizon. And that, I'm guessing, I mean, if I was a betting man, possibly that Storm Shadow we've seen in the artwork and in the Operation Blackout game.
Yeah, it seems like that one's a little overdue. I don't know. That one's been kind of a long time coming. So was Alley Viper. Those are kind of the two that appeared in art, and Storm Shadow over and over again. So, yeah, of course, that's probably going to be... I don't know. I mean, it's cool to see that confirmation that a Storm Shadow is coming, but I'm more surprised that we don't already have a Storm Shadow.
Yeah, I mean, just the Arctic Mission one, and obviously the new movie one that we've seen revealed. But other than that, like, it's really surprising that we have Deluxe Snake Eyes, we have Retail Snake Eyes, we have a Retail Redeco-ish Snake Eyes, and a Fortnite Snake Eyes. We have like 4 Snake Eyes already. Have I missed any out? I think that's everything, isn't it? And we only have the 1 Arctic Mission Storm Shadow and the possible movie one coming out. 5 Snake Eyes if you count Henry Golding's.
Yeah, that's true. So it just feels like Storm Shadow, because there is the Arctic Mission one, but that one kind of feels like it's an exclusive and an alternate version to one that just is not out yet.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know. It's a little weird that we don't have that yet, and seeing as a code name, sure, it's nice to have that little boost of confirmation that it should be out sometime soon. I would assume sometime this year.
Yeah, I think we're talking basically up to the end of the year with those particular code words, and then also from the target system, I would imagine that could be up to the end of the year and slightly beyond, because that target system, there are a lot of code names in there. None of them line up with this lot other than Jupiter, and even that one is, I don't think that's the movie Jupiter. And then also in that target system, you've got a couple of names that are just brand new out of nowhere. Don't really line up with anything. It all seems to be very brand new stuff. So I am very excited to see what we're going to get for the rest of the year. It feels like GeneralsJoes June might be revealing a lot more than we expect.
Yeah, is that going to include who Apollo and Satellite are?
I would imagine so. Now, Apollo and Satellite, aka Big Rig and Diamondback, all we know really about them is those code names and that they are now Apollo and Satellite. Check the Patreon for more details, but we don't know exactly what the characters are. We just have a few guesses as to who they could be. Obviously, Alley Viper is up there. The Battle Android Trooper has been bandied about as an option in there too. So we could be seeing those two in those spots, which would be freaking awesome. Don't get me wrong, that would be a very cool couple of figures to release in the classified line. But at the moment, we are just speculating randomly because we have no idea what they could be. You're right about Alley Viper, though. I mean, we've seen that figure so many times, and yet nothing at all, not even a hint that it might be out there. So maybe an Alley Viper is one of those. Maybe Big Rig or Diamondback is an Alley Viper, but we'll see, I guess. Yeah,
I mean, I'll be curious. GeneralsJoes June's going to be a lot of fun for sure. It's only a couple weeks away, right?
It certainly is.
There they are.
Alley Vipers. Anyway, that is classified code word news. And also kind of a big shout out to, I mentioned them in that, but a big shout out to Anything Joes, who did post those target code words a while back. Anyway, next up, in mobile gaming news, D3Go have revealed plans to upgrade their GIJoe War on Cobra mobile game in July, just in time for the Snake Eyes movie release. The company posted about the planned changes on their website quite a while back, but posted a recent update explaining the plans and what features they would be including in the new version of the game. I won't read them all out, but you can see them on the main screen or just check out our news burst on it we posted earlier in the week for all the details. I must admit, I hadn't played the game for quite some time before this news broke a few days ago, and I re-downloaded the app to see what my progress looked like. It wasn't great. Pat, do you play the game at all?
Actually don't. No. Any of these games that are on the phone, I don't know why. I just kind of, they slip my mind and I don't really play them. But it's good that they're giving this a reboost, because I know a lot of people I see post about the Transformers and the GIJoe game. Philip has mentioned it before to me.
Yeah, I know TFU and at tfu.info and, you know, Transformers University, etc. He's like the main spokesperson, I think, for like the Transformers game, which I'll go back to every now and again. And I hit a wall, like I hit battle walls where I can't actually win or defeat that level anymore. And it doesn't matter what I do, everything seems to be kind of upgraded to its maximum that I can. And then I just hit this wall in the battle kind of mode, and it's like I can't really do anything else with it, and then I just lose interest. And that's kind of what happened with War on Cobra, which I was really enjoying. I was enjoying this kind of growth and progression in the game. And then I just hit this wall where I couldn't, you know, I'd been like working it so that I was like just generally kind of getting up the levels and moving through, and then bang, I just can't win anymore. It's really weird. So maybe it's a you know, a ploy to get you to kind of spend some money on the game, but I'm not going to be dropping thousands of dollars on these things. You know, it's really just. And I have spent money on both of those games, small amounts, but there's no way I'm going to be dropping like hundreds and thousands. I know that there was one guy in the Transformers game that I think dropped like over $100,000 on and that was on microtransactions, and it was like a big story at the time. Can you believe that?
Yeah, that's unbelievable. I hate to talk negatively about it, but I'd feel pretty sick to my stomach if I had spent that much money. I mean,
so would I.
I don't judge anyone for spending on these. Certainly the microtransactions cost money and it builds up, but if you're having fun, what's the difference of spending, you know, $80 on a console video game and $80 on your phone? Really not much of anything.
Yeah. I mean, I would also probably gauge that they're rich, and it doesn't really concern them, that kind of amount of money.
I wouldn't have had $100,000 to have lost.
Very good point. That's a lot of credit cards I'd have to rack up. Probably about 100 of them.
Yeah.
But I would say that it might be one of those situations where they were utilizing that for other things, like maybe YouTube channels and things like that. So maybe they were like doing it and earning money from other arenas by showing off that kind of excess.
Yeah, I never really thought about that. I kind of doubt that, though. I mean, is there $100,000 coming to anybody from YouTube anymore?
Well, if you've got millions, yeah, but not if you've got what have we got, like closing in on 3,000 subs, which is pretty awesome. I mean, you know, shout out to all of our subs, thank you so much. But I monetized the channel, and I think over the however many years it's been there, we picked up about $25. Can you believe that?
Amazing.
Yeah. So that's not bad when you think about the amount of. I mean, it was like 600,000 views in total and something else. So you're gonna have to rack up a lot of hits, a lot of subs, a lot of all of that stuff in order to be making a lot of money from YouTube. But people are doing it. In any case, that was D3Go and their GIJoe War and Cobra upgrade. We'll keep you up to date with the actual update and upgrade when it actually appears, and I'll probably be doing a news burst on that as well when it happens. And then I'll be grilling Pat again about it, even though he hasn't played it and won't be playing it. In fact, that's what you should do, Pat, for homework. You should download the game when it gets the upgrade and try it out and see what you think. And
you know what, I will, because I do enjoy the art that I see in some of the games whenever it pops up. That kind of is something that is rewarding to me, because I really like some painted GIJoe art, which looks like this game has some.
Were you a fan of Battlegrounds? Because I really like that for the artwork.
That's the main reason why I enjoyed Battlegrounds, was the artwork. I did play that a little bit because things kept on popping up, but I wasn't really enjoying the game so much. I think it may have even been, at the time, it may have been my need for glasses, because I had been playing a Star Wars game opposite my older brother, and he was like, well, what are you doing with these stats? And I didn't realize that there were smaller numbers, and that's whenever I went and bought these.
Oh, that's when you had to give in.
Yeah. So maybe I need to just have better glasses so that I can play on tiny screens instead of on my TV.
I feel that, but also with Battlegrounds, it was a nice novelty at first, but again, I hit the wall. And when you do that and the art is the only appealing factor for you, it's like you never go back to it. It's so difficult to get the motivation to go back to it. And when you have time, you want to focus that time on things that you actually fully enjoy. So yeah, it's difficult to it's a difficult balance. And if you're balancing things, you want to just be focusing on the stuff that you enjoy. But in any case, give us a little mini review next time you play it. And and next up. And the last bit of news for the weekly this week, in Voldemort news, people that watch the show will understand what I mean when I say that. It looks as though people are finding the special mission's Cobra Island Major Bloods in targets across the country already. A number of people have reported seeing the figure in multiple locations, even though Target's system does officially say the 19th of this month for the street date. I expect yet another stumbling rollout, but hopefully there will be a good amount of figures to go around this time. Pat, have you been checking your local Targets just in case?
I did stop by there yesterday specifically for the reason that people were reporting finding them, yes. Who knows? I may have missed them already. I had a horrible time with Target the last time. I'm still anticipating there being some moment where we just have an adequate number of things going into Target, and yet everyone is conditioned to go in there and pick one up for friends, and then everyone will go in, buy 3 or 4, everyone will call their friends, and the friends will be like, well, I picked up 3 or 4 as well, and then we'll have this trickle back of some of them where people are returning them to the store. And then who knows what days those will end up on the floor. I expect that to be what happens when we finally get enough of something coming into Target. That's my expectation. But I don't know if that's going to be with Major Blood or not. I have no idea.
My fear is that it's going to swing the other way dramatically, and they'll overproduce, and it'll be like, obviously there are people that have probably like jumped off at this point, which I was kind of like umming and erring about. I was like, have you really dropped off? I mean, have you really stepped off this? Because it's not something that is easily done, especially if you go into a store and it's in abundance again, if it's in front of you. Like I did step off Black Series Star Wars, but then all of a sudden I'm like looking at an aisle again, and I'm going, oh, but I kind of want that one, and I want that one, and I want. So I don't think it's as easy as just going like, I'm frustrated with this, and I'm never coming back to it. I think that it's going to have to be a little more in everyone's faces. It may not be a bad thing if these figures actually have the time to linger on the shelf for a month. Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people calling something a shelf warmer if it's there for a week. That's not what a shelf warmer is by any means. I mean, maybe by today's standards, but that's a little crazy to think of something as a shelf warmer because it's been there for a week. Back 20 years ago, we'd call something a shelf warmer. It would be there all year, not something that's been there for a week. I know some of the local guys that I met because of GIJoe, whenever I will bring up whatever we've talked about on the news with them, as far as classified series go, they're just kind of like, whatever. And they don't banter with me about it anymore because their interest really is unfortunately gone.
That's a shame, isn't it? I mean, I do expect that there will be some drop off because of the issues that they've had, but like, I don't know. I think if you see it again, like if you see it in front of you.
Yeah, and I think that G.I. Joe could get them back because of the quality of the figures, but I think it really is going to take those figures being on the shelves long enough for them to go into the store and happen to see them again and go, oh, you know what? Maybe it is going to be worth me going back and getting these. And hopefully Joe June will bring about some kind of news where, you know, I'm still, I keep on saying it, I'm still hoping that there will be more quantities of some of the things that were just impossible to find. So
samesies. Fingers crossed.
You know, if all that stuff could go on the shelves at Target and take a month to sell through, that I think would give the opportunity for those guys and other people who dropped off to go, you know what? I was really upset, but these things look amazing and they're in front of me now and this is my opportunity, and maybe they'll get them back.
Yep, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, I'm going to be looking out for this blood. Again, like, he looks amazing. It's a really cool figure, and yeah, I've already got one on order from Nick in the UK in In-Demand Toys. So yeah, shout out to Nick as well. Oh, I've given an early shout out before we got to shout outs. Should we get into shout outs, Pat?
That's fine by me. Mine's going to be to Philip before you beat me to it.
Great start to the shout-outs this week. Yeah, so Phil gets another early shout-out. Pat, is any more, or are you just doing the Phil this week?
No. No, I think that's probably it for me. Yeah, that's it. I was going to shout out like to the crazy dream that I had, or maybe to the fact that I didn't dream about finding Major Blood, because that's also, as we said, has happened many times where you find that toy. I could have dreamed that I found Major Blood and that I found enough for all of us, and then, you know, woke up and it wouldn't have been there. That's terrible whenever that happens. I'm sure many people viewing right now have had that same experience, but that didn't happen. So yay for me.
You can check out our Patreon for the full description of Pat's dream. I'm just kidding. That's not going to happen. But in any case, I'm going to get stuck in, as I always do, with a big shout out to the family and my wonderful wife, Kate. Love you all. To Brian Sauer, who continues to create some amazing graphics for us, as always. Shout out to Brian Hickey and Paddy Lennon again, the men behind the Kickstarter book, Total Action Force, The Battle Years, and of course, you know, famous Full Force co-presenters. The book has passed halfway funded now, so if you haven't already jumped on, get on there and pledge right away. This won't be available following the Kickstarter, so if you want one, get on board now. Link in the description. Shout out to GIJoe Nederland on Twitter for giving us the heads up on the Icon Heroes reveals last week. They're doing a great job currently documenting all the art and artists for GIJoe, amongst many other things that they do, so go give them a follow. Really cool, awesome peeps. GIJoe Nederland. As we said last week, we stand with the Asian and Pacific Islander communities in saying Stop Asian Hate, and will continue to do so. Follow the links in the description if you want more information or just want to do more to help. To our patrons, listeners and viewers, thank you so much for continuing to support us, for giving us $25 in YouTube channel money. But seriously, we really, really appreciate all of the support and everything like that. So again, keep doing it and we'll keep churning out this content. And one thing I will say, Justin Bell and I will be dropping a movie special episode on Sunday. So keep an eye out for that. It will be amazing, trust me. And we've just, as we're recording now, the G.I. Joe movie Twitter account has posted the first Snake Eyes poster reveal, and it looks amazing, of Henry Golding. And they've also said that the trailer will be appearing on the MTV Awards this Sunday, May the 16th at 9 p.m. We are finally going to get to see the trailer, guys. I hope you're excited as much as we are. So keep an eye out for our Sunday special episode. That brings us to the end of the show. Pat, thank you so much for jumping on and chatting with me. It's a short news burst this week in terms of the news, but we are padding it out with some more movie stuff that obviously you can't talk about because you're movie CIA.
That's okay. It's always fun to come on here and talk about code words that I don't understand.
Code words you don't understand, mobile games you don't play, dreams that you had. It's been an interesting episode.
I can't find.
Yeah, and Major Bloods you can't actually find. Yeah, well, anyway, I really appreciate it anyway. So, and I'm sure our listeners, viewers, Sorry, our listener and our viewer also appreciate it too. Anyway, that brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you for watching the Full Force Weekly. Massive thank you to my awesome co-host, Patrick Notpicard Stewart. See you next time, and as always, you know what to do, Pat. After 3, 1, 2, 3, Full Force! Perfect.
Well timed as last time.
No, last time was on point, man. All three of us kind of nailed it, and then that was crap, but it's all good.
we need Justin here, and then it'll be perfect.
Justin's the linchpin that keeps our team together. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForcePodcast, or click the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.